はい、皆さん、こんにちは。そしてこんばんは。ナロンです。Hey guys, how's it going? This is Sean, and today we're going to be talking about negotiating in Japanese. All right. Yeah, thanks for joining our channel. In this channel, we talk about business Japanese. So those who actually do business with Japanese companies, or those, this channel is for those who actually use Japanese in emails and all that. And at work, if you want to learn how to use business Japanese, you're at the right place. So yeah, in our last video, we talked about business emails. Today, it's going to be more about negotiating. So it's going to be more like a verbal, practice. So yeah, let's get started. So at the end of this video, you're going to learn how to actually confidently negotiate in Japanese in a business setting. So like I said in our last video, we did business emails. In this video, we're going to be actually learning new phrases when it comes to business. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to actually doing business, doing business in Japan is that you got to show gratitude first. And the reason is I wrote two examples here, and I see this a lot with Western people doing business in Japan. All right. The first one is, can you do X for us? Or I think that blah, 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 right? Asking a favor, asking someone to do something for you first, or saying what you think first is kind of a taboo when it comes to business in Japan, or like Japanese culture in general. So you're going to have to actually show gratitude first, right? And how do we actually change these questions into kind of a better question, right? So instead of asking, can you do for us, or I think whatever, you can actually change these to, for example, what kind of problems do you have now? How can I help you, right? Japanese culture is more you first instead of me first. That's kind of the culture here. So this is another thing we got to talk about, all right? So I'll try to address this in this video today as well. So let's get started. Yeah, my name is Sean, like I said, and that's just me. I've been a translator all my life. After college, when I graduated from 2020, I started working as a Japanese translator in California, and now I'm back in Japan, actually translating in a Japanese company. So that's just me. And so anyways, the first thing, we're going to talk about three things today. First, opening the negotiation, right? And then second, we're going to talk about how to actually make your proposal, because we always want what we want, right? And actually closing the deal, all right? When you actually make your proposal, I want to also add that you also have to, I'm going to teach you how to ask their opinion. Instead of just forcing your proposal, you also want to ask what they feel. So I'm going to actually address this as well in this video, all right? So first of all, when you start the negotiation process, this is the first thing you want to say. 本日はお時間をいただきありがとうございます。Sorry, again, 本日はお時間をいただきありがとうございます。Today, thanks for making some time for us, all right? So this goes back to actually showing gratitude, which is very important. This, I wrote thank them. It acts as a cushion, right? You're both kind of nervous at the first part when you sit down at the table, and when you put this kind of small talk in, before the negotiation, it acts as a cushion. You have two very nervous people. You don't know if you're gonna, screw up, say something wrong, and they actually don't want to screw up as well, right? So by thanking the person for coming to this, to the negotiation table, means a lot to Japanese people. So please remember this. All right. Right. So when you first start out the conversation by saying 本日はお時間をいただきありがとうございます, they'll probably say something like, yeah, thank you too. How was your day? A little bit of small talk, right? And when you actually want to switch the conversation to your proposal, this is what you say. この内容でご検討いただけますか? Which means you'll probably talk about a few things. How many people are going to be there? how many cars you want, depending on your industry, how many softwares you want to download, how much is it going to be. This is all part of the negotiation process, right? And when something, when you're proposing something, you end the conversation, end the sentence by saying, この内容でご検討いただけますか? Which means, this is what I propose. Will you be willing to consider this proposal? This is what we're trying to say, all right? So you probably have two new words today in this slide. 内容 means what we talked about previously, which is your proposal. And 検討 means consider. So we're saying, yeah, would you like to consider our proposal or not? All right. And what I want to actually add, I also wanted to add that instead of saying 内容, a lot of people say 条件, which means condition. So instead of saying この内容で, some people say この条件で. So like, this is our conditions or this is our terms. And I recommend not doing this because it's a little too heavy. It sounds, I mean, we're talking about business Japanese, but it actually sounds too business-like and too buttoned up, if you will. So instead of saying 条件, 内容 is better. We're just talking about what we talked previously, which is 内容, all right? So just remember, don't say 条件, just say 内容, all right? And then once you ask the person, do you want to consider this or not? Is our proposal good or bad? They'll probably say, はい、そうします. Or, ちょっとこれは, which means they're not too direct, right? So they're trying to say there's something wrong, but they don't want to say it. In Japanese culture, we don't directly say something. We wait for the other party to understand how you feel. So if someone says ちょっとこれは, it means they didn't like it. And you're going to have to say, okay. We're going to actually fix it, all right? So again, just to give you a review, it's going to be either はい、そうします. That's a good proposal. Or ちょっとこれは. I really don't like it, so let's figure it out, all right? And when this happens, it's time for you to actually ask their opinion now. Because by asking their opinion, right now, the goal is to reach a win-win, not to close the deal, right? I believe this is especially true in Japan, in Japanese culture, that the more you try to close the deal, they're not going to like it. On the other hand, if you try to think about the other person's situation and reach a win-win, they're going to love you. So going back to the first slide, yeah, you got to show gratitude first, right? Instead of saying, I want you to do this. We think that blah, blah, blah. You got to say, what is your problem? Do you have any issues that you want to solve with us, right? This is a better way to do it. So how do we ask them about their opinion? We use the word ちなみに, all right? ちなみに means by the way. ちなみに何かご意見ありますか? Which means, by the way, do you have any opinions? Or is there something you want to say about our proposal? All right? 意見 means opinion. Okay? ちなみに means by the way. And when they tell you what you want, like for example, they might say, well, we can't really give you 10 people that day. We can try to bring 5 people instead. Or we can't do 10,000, but we can do 7,000, right? Dollars. They'll actually tell you what they want. And this is where you say, それはある程度譲歩できます。それはある程度譲歩できます. Which means, so ある程度 means to a degree, and 譲歩 means actually figure it out, kind of think this through together, right? We can still negotiate. So the sentence here, we're saying we can actually still try to figure it out to some kind of extent. So we can't give you everything, but we can still negotiate. This is what we're saying here. I'll say it again. それはある程度譲歩できます. All right? And then if you add this, they're going to love you because, I'll just read it. 双方にとって良い解決策を考えたいと思います。Right? This means we're trying to actually not close the deal. We're trying to actually think about your benefit and our benefit. Like what's win-win for both parties. This is what we're saying, right? 双方 means both parties. And then 解決策 is like a solution. So 双方にとって良い解決策を考えたいと思います。We want to think of we want to come up with a good solution for both parties. This is what we're saying, all right? So this is the last part of this video, and I really want you to think about this, right? By saying this, you're showing gratitude. You're saying, instead of saying, I want you to do this, we think that blah, 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 you're saying, how can we help you, right? Instead of being selfish, you're actually showing gratitude. So this is very important in Japanese business culture. So please keep this in mind, all right? So I'll do a recap. So just to give you a review, when you start the conversation, you just thank them by saying, お時間をいただきありがとうございます. When you make your proposal, you say, ご検討いただけますか? Would you be willing to consider this at least, right? If they say yes, はい、そうします, good. If they say ちょっとこれは, it means they don't like it, right? So what do you say? You say, ちなみに何かご意見はありますか? Right? Is there something you want to tell us? Something you want? And then when they do, you can say, we can consider that. ある程度情報できます. To a degree, we can kind of still figure this out, right? We can't give you everything, but we still can figure it out. And then at the end, you say, 双方にとって blah, 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 which means, I'll say it, 双方にとって良い解決策を考えたいと思います, which means we're not trying to close a deal now. We're trying to, figure out a win-win situation. So let's keep talking. This is a great way to actually close the deal. Sorry, not close the deal, to keep negotiating, to end the conversation for that day. All right, that's all for this slide. And before we finish, I kind of want to add a few things. It's really important in Japanese business culture that not only do you think about the other person, but you use the proper terms, because Japan's a very high context culture, which means depending on what you say or what you do, every word, every phrase means, it could be a similar word, but means have slightly different meanings. So you really want to be careful with your word choice, right? It's very different from English. And yeah, anyways, I hope this slide helped you, this video helped you. And if you want to learn more about business Japanese, please keep watching us. I'll post a lot of videos this week. I'm trying to post, one video a day. So yeah, I'll keep updating videos. So I'll talk to you later. All right, bye-bye. Thanks for watching.